Live from the KIJU studios in beautiful Ogasawara, this is the Monster Island Film Vault, bonus episode 11, Godzilla the Series, the Cameron Winter Trilogy. Hello, Kaiju lovers, and welcome to the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. I am your host, Monster Island's film curator, Nate Marchand, and today is an interesting one, to say the least. Yeah, don't get me started, Jimmy. Don't get me started. This was actually an episode mandated, I'm telling you, by my new boss. Actually, our new boss here on the island, Cameron Winter, because once he realized that I had an open slot for a bonus episode and the theme of the season is American-made kaiju movies, he decided that his ego had to be placated. Yes, I said it, and I don't care. So he demanded that we talk a little bit more Godzilla the series. However, he was kind enough to let me bring on my own guests here today, and they are the animated hosts of the Cel Cast, Drew and Jacob. How's it going, fellas?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Well, it's been a bit of a rough week. A lot of weird things have been happening. The beaches were closed for a while. I know why, but it was weird, to say the least. and yeah, so how did you guys get here today?
Well, those of you who don't listen to the Cel Cast, you may not realize that we have a little AI of our own, and she was supposed to teleport us near the entrance point.
Oh, teleporting. Teleporting.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared of teleporters.
Well, normally she does just fine. I mean, the last time we had this incident was, I guess it was only 3 months ago when we got stepped on by 10-foot tall Digimon.
That is true.
Oh, okay.
That's never fun.
Right, but I mean, after that was really, she couldn't see that one coming. But she was supposed to transport us near the welcome area where you get off, where you get out, where you go into the lobby to check in and all that. She missed.
Oh, she did.
Yes. Right into Mothra's enclosure.
Oh, no.
We landed, even better, we landed right on the egg.
Oh, the recently laid egg, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I'm still getting the goo off.
I'm surprised security let us out, all things considered.
Oh.
And man, did it stink.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I haven't had the pleasure of...
Oh. I know you're sorry, D-Lit. It's all right. It's all good.
Okay. Just Jimmy, just leave D-Lit alone. I remember when we were on their show and weird things happened. I'm just saying.
She said, "Stay away, Jimmy."
Yeah.
She's got she has picked up some more defensive measures since y'all last met.
Calm down, man. Okay, gee whiz. Why do you have to flirt with every AI you see? I'm starting to get worried, man. You're gonna marry a robot or something, like one of the robots in your garage. I'm telling you. Which one's better, Mechanicon Mark II or Uber Mogra? Of course you would pick that one, but whatever.
I had no idea they were female.
Well, haven't you figured out by now? I mean, you've watched Star Trek. Come on, Scott. Every ship Scotty worked on was female.
Fair enough.
True. Very true.
Fair enough.
So, with all of that out of the way, I'm glad you guys got here. I'm glad you also got a very good shower.
Yes, thank you. Much appreciated.
The water heaters on this island are very nice.
Yes, yes, for sure. Although I will say, with that egg is, they've laid that egg, and I'm hearing that what's probably going to end up happening is that after Mothra gets to spend a little bit of time with the egg is actually going to be shipped over to Infant Island. The Shobijin and the Infant Islanders have requested that it be moved over here, but first they have to let Mothra tend to it for a little while. Mm-hmm. Also, Mothra Leo probably wants to meet his new sibling or something, and and
I'm just lucky that I didn't have to meet Crystal Lady after and all this mess.
She'd be very happy. The board and Mr. Winter and Mr. Darius Gold, who you've probably met, and he's even more Texas than both of you.
I think he's from West Texas.
That's what it sounds like.
Somewhere around El Paso, I'm guessing.
I would guess. I don't know. I've not asked. All I know is that he's from Texas.
That's like saying you're from France. I mean, that's a huge area.
Yeah. Be more specify what area of Texas you're from then.
We're from the side that's like Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Fact, he's got Louisiana in his blood.
I do. Yes. A little closer to our friends, the Moras, and
yes.
And
I am 2 hours from Dallas, both of them.
Literally.
That's a good one. Dallas Mora, people, who's been on the show a couple of times. So. Yeah, so it's great to have you guys on here. It just seemed appropriate. I mean, we're talking about animated kaiju. I mean, who else am I going to have on?
I have no idea. Yeah. I only know of one other cartoon podcast out there. So,
which one is that?
I don't know them. What is that? I can't remember the name of them right now. We both have talked about them on the show, even though I have never actually listened to an episode.
The Rotoscopers.
Yeah, the Rotoscopers. Okay. The only other animation podcast I even know.
Yeah, basically, that was inspired, this podcast.
Unfortunately, it's going to have to be for non-Japanese animation because I have an anime friend, and so
fair enough. I don't want to tread on Bex's soil.
Okay. So you know her. Good. Yeah,
I don't know her. I know of her.
Okay. Well, we still need to.
I've listened to some Redeemed Otaku. I've listened to her Mothra episodes.
Yes. Yeah. So we need to keep pushing for her to, finally bring about the second coming of Redeemed Otaku. I'm just saying.
I need to get caught up listening to all of Redeemed Otaku. But anyway.
And knowing's half the battle.
Yeah, indeed. But lucky for Mr. Winter, talking about these episodes, as I hinted at before, fits in with the show this season because it's America, 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 Amerikaiju. In light of that, it's now time to get into the first of, I'm calling this the Cameron Winter Trilogy because there are 3 episodes of Godzilla the series that center around him. So we'll be talking about all 3 of them today, which will bring MIFV's episode coverage of this show to, as of today, to 6 out of 40.
Not bad.
Yeah,
slowly but surely. You're doing about as good as we are with Tangled the series.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Getting there.
If I ever get around to finish editing episodes.
So anyway, it's time to get on to our first episode of this trilogy. The Winter of Our Discontent. Nick Totopoulos is reunited with his old college buddy, Solstice Technology CEO Cameron Winter. The tycoon has built a squadron of cyberflies, which he tests against Zilla. He promises to make Andy's academic troubles disappear in exchange for planting neural stimulators on Zilla to manipulate the creature like a puppet and attack military facilities so he can get a government contract for his weapons technology. Can Heat free the G-Man before it's too late? All right, so first thing I have to ask, fellas, who's seen this show before?
I did not. I did start watching this after you contacted us, but I had not seen it before that point. So it's been this year as when I watched it. Because I don't remember watching this when I was a kid.
Okay.
I'm in the same boat.
Okay. So, which is a little bit different because I was watching this pretty early on when it came on. In fact, I was, as a wee lad, I was actually a little bit obsessed with the show. I was recording it every week.
Well, in my defense, I was not into Godzilla at the time, and I hadn't seen the movie before that. Oh,
that is true. If you keep forgetting that this particular kaiju has been rechristened, he is Zilla now.
I was referring to the property at large.
Okay.
Not just Zilla Jr. Although, let's face it, this is more Godzilla than the Godzilla in the movie. So
for sure.
Very much.
Since this is the first time for most of you seeing this, what did you think of the theme song? Let's start with the theme song here.
It's actually a pretty decent theme song. It's obviously not taken from anything, so it was composed for the show. And the opening sequence, I thought, went really well into showing you all the characters and stuff. Plus, there's just something about it looking like Godzilla is going to work with everybody else going down the bridge in New York that kind of makes me laugh. It's like he's just commuting to work like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Except he's going to sit at the top of the Chrysler building for a while until the next monster attacks.
Wow. Is anyone going to tell him he can't?
I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you big lizard, get down from my tower. Roar.
I think that was the Chrysler
is
building.
Mr. T in New York this week? Where'd that come from? Yo, Zilla, get off my tower right now. I'll pity the fool, and the fool is you. I suddenly want this crossover. I want Mr. T in a Godzilla movie now.
Well, didn't Charles Barkley
actually
play basketball against Godzilla
in a commercial and a comic book? Yes, actually, it happened.
Okay,
I'm thinking, you know what would have been perfect if they had Mr. T in the New York scene of Final Wars. That would have been, that's a big booty.
I haven't caught up to that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The movies are 30 years. Well, no, Final Wars isn't 30 years old, but all these movies are at least over a year old. I don't care about spoilers at that point.
It's not really a spoiler, admittedly,
No.
but you definitely should, because Captain Gordon is the head of security for the island, and he was in that movie. So
isn't Final Wars also the only other appearance of Zilla?
Yes. And he dies in 10 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
It wasn't this Zilla, thankfully, because I like this Zilla.
Everyone loves this Zilla. Everyone loves Zilla Jr.
Yes.
They love Zilla Jr. a lot. We do around here, that's for sure. Yeah, it's funny because Zilla was allowed onto the island, but there was a little bit of controversy when he was brought over here, because some wondered if that would actually make the tourists angry, because, well, you know how people feel about Godzilla 98. But then the argument had to be made that no, this is Junior. Oh, okay, we like Junior.
Right. Although, can I just say this about Godzilla 98, even though we're not reviewing that?
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad a movie in comparison to some things I've seen.
It's not terrible.
I've seen a lot of garbage, though.
That's a lot of fish.
That is a lot of fish.
You know, I'm friends with Nick Tatopoulos, and he's a little tired of all of the Matthew Broderick comparisons.
I imagine.
Yeah, I can.
Well, let me tell you, he's actually told me, he's not fond of, like I said, he's not fond of the Matthew Broderick comparisons. However, he does say that Ian Ziering, who voiced him in this show, is better. He's closer to how he actually is. Although, you want to know something funny that I found out doing a little bit of reading beforehand? Ian Ziering was not originally supposed to be Nick Tatopoulos.
Huh.
I did read that.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Cameron Winter.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Cameron Winter. How appropriate. He was going to be Cameron Winter, but originally it was Nick was going to be voiced by one of his castmates from Beverly Hills 90210. Only millennials will remember that show.
I know of the show. I can't tell you I watched the show.
I never watched it either. So, but yeah,
I was a little young.
Yeah, you have to be of a certain age to even know what that is. But anyway, it was
on the other hand.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Jason Priestley was originally supposed to voice. In fact, I think I read that he recorded the first 5 episodes. And then he had to leave.
That's what I read. Stuff happens.
It does.
It's just funny how that works out.
At least they got what'd you say his name was? Zerlig? At least they got him to re-voice those first 5 episodes.
Yeah, redouble. Yeah.
Because otherwise that would be a weird cut.
That's true. Yeah, Jimmy. It's Zering, not Zerling.
Sorry.
It was
Zerling. Sorry, my bad.
Zergling? Wait, you trying to say Zergling or something? What is this?
Maybe I've got Toy Story on the brain. I don't know.
Maybe.
Zerg. All right, so that is fun facts aside. So in this first episode, our MOTW, the Monster of the Week, is hardly in it. It's
true.
It's the cyber flies, because this show primarily operates on a Monster of the Week format. So if you're familiar with things like it's kind of like a Power Rangers sort of a thing, but
if you take out the 5 teenagers with attitude actually fighting the monster,
yes, or even something like say Smallville, the show Smallville, where they called it Freak of the Week, but it's the same sort of a thing. Yeah,
it's the same difference.
Yeah. Exact same thing.
So the Cyberfly, so we get basically a squadron of them, and they're hardly in it. Because Cameron Winter is our real Monster of the Week, apparently.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to love you saying that, too.
Oh, yeah.
He
didn't hear a thing.
His ego is big enough he can handle it.
He's probably proud of this moment anyway.
He most definitely is. He most definitely is. But I love how Zilla just trashes these things on his little test. And I'm like, that's got to be expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
a little bit.
Yeah. But then I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines from the Tim Story Fantastic Four movie. He doesn't have to worry because he's richer than God.
I mean, what do you expect from an Elon Musk knockoff?
True. This was before Elon Musk.
I'm aware.
Very true.
Okay, Bill Gates knockoff.
Actually, you know how I think it's pronounced Robert Skur, one of the story editors here, how he described Cameron Winter?
Oh,
I hope Mr. Winter is ready to hear this. He described Cameron Winter as, quote, nasty, snotty, and smug. Picture Lex Luthor played by James Spader.
I was going to think the Grinch, but just a little more slimy.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, that's a better description. Yes.
Oh man. So are you saying that Cameron Winter is going to steal all of our Christmases?
Well, he isn't half of your Christmas bonus.
Though one of the things that we also learn about this, and it was one of the, I have to admit, makes me a little bit nervous having him in charge of the island, is Nick tells the rest of the characters, because they went to college together. Apparently, Nick was a little bit of a stick in the mud in college, and or funny things happened. We don't know. They don't get into too much detail about it. But he tells everybody, he might give you favors, but there's always strings attached.
Yeah. I already knew not to accept anything from him. So outside the check to appear on the show. I mean, other than that.
No, well, yes. I'm assuming there weren't any strings literally or figuratively attached to that.
I didn't see any.
Yeah.
No. We'll see.
Yeah. I guess we'll know because he might yank the string and the check falls out of your pocket. We don't know.
Yeah. It was direct deposited, I think.
Then I guess you're safe unless it's like an electronic string.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I have to confess, the name of his company, Solstice Technologies, and your name is Winter. Clever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clever.
Very.
Winter solstice and all that.
Yes. He had a good marketing team to come up with that one. I will say that. Although when you're saying things like you're going to basically start selling bioweapons once Congress comes to its senses about that cloning thing, still a contested issue even now, I'm telling you. Which I just want to park here for a second to talk about this. I brought this up when I was I think it was actually like a year ago now, when I had one of your fellow patrons on, Eli Harris, to talk about a few episodes of the show. The writing on the show is remarkably smart.
Yeah,
indeed, it is.
It is remarkably smart. It does not talk down to its audience at all.
No.
My only issue is because it is 20 minutes, they have to blow through so many plot points so fast to get the story out. It's almost blindingly fast.
Yeah, it is very economical. In fact, I read that part of the reason for that was not only the format, but also because they actually brought in comic book writers to work on this.
Yeah.
And they knew
some
how
scenes that are like less than a minute, and then you're off somewhere else.
Yep. And they the comic book writers knew how to do things fast, on deadline, and economically, because they didn't have a whole lot of space to play with.
But you do have to be paying attention the whole time. There's never a moment where you can just like, oh, my phone went off. Oh, crud! We've now moved to Monster Island. How did this happen? We were in New York 5 seconds ago. What happened?
Where are we? Where are my pants?
You just find yourself sitting there going, why? I was like, I miss the days when I could have the commercial breaks.
You'd think I'd learn to pause. It's a DVD, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a nice screening room and everything. I mean, you guys could have said, hey, can you pause it for me? I could do that.
I should have. Or even when I was watching it beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I was just wanting to go through the whole series for my own enjoyment. I could hit pause, but no.
Pause?
I just have to keep letting it go.
What is this pause thing?
I just know it's a pain in the butt on Xbox to do that. But anyway.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I know all about it. But so here's the thing. And this is something that with all of these characters, because if you want to learn more about how the show came about and all of that, listen to the episodes I did with Mr. Harris. But one of the things that astonishes me is Randy is apparently still a college student. How does he have any time to show up whatsoever? Now, part of his subplot in this deals with that. Yeah. But I was just like, when do you have time to show up at all?
And are you getting some kind of college credit for doing this?
Yeah. You would think he would.
Yeah, I mean, he's working with all these giant monsters. You'd think that'd get him some kind, at least an elective of some kind.
Mm-hmm. You would think.
An internship, I don't know.
Oh, but apparently he says he's so smart he can do all of your exams in my sleep because it's just a lowly community college. Apparently he was lying about going to.
Yeah.
So, and then that becomes part of the other subplot, which, because not only do we have the cyberflies, but we have these little, and oh boy, neurostimulators. And let me tell you, we've had some experiences recently with so-called mind control technology. And I'm really, really hoping that Winter has not been playing around with those anymore since this, because I would rather not deal with that anymore. I mean, we already have the keylock tech to deal with here, and just get in line if you want mind control technology. Although I like the way it's discussed in this, where they say it's involuntary motor control, which honestly I think sounds way more horrifying than just simple mind control.
I can totally relate. I have a neurological disorder.
I was about to say you might want to make sure none of those cyberflies get near you, because we saw how it affected those other dogs.
Yeah, I might start barking on him at some reason because I have Tourette's disorder. I bark like a dog. No joke. I bark like a dog.
At random points.
Random points.
And yet somehow, over the course of the past 4 years, it still hasn't shown up on the show
yet.
Well, that actually, I think that's actually a little bit funny. Well, anyway, so we have Winter promising to make all of the shenanigans that hacker Randy has gotten into just go away, because that's why he can't go to the big nice schools.
Mm-hmm.
So
that must be nice.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of a through line, through a theme, you could say, through these episodes, putting people in places where they have to make hard decisions. So Randy, it helps Winter by putting the neurostimulator in there, with his justification being, well, we never know when Godzilla might go crazy, which is also a bit of a through line through these episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand Randy's thought process if it's not just to get back into the good colleges. Because, I mean, they really don't know how long until Godzilla decides not to listen to Nick, to be honest.
Yeah. He's a wild card, to say the least.
Especially on one of the later episodes when Godzilla really does quit listening to Nick. When Mama shows up.
No, or is it Big Daddy? That one's weird.
I don't know if they're mother or either way.
Parent,
yeah. But cyborg anyway.
Cyber parent.
Yes.
That sounds like
that was an interesting episode.
That sounds like something waiting to happen, doesn't it? Cyber parent.
That's a nice older person online who tells you don't go to those awful websites.
Or Netflix.
Yeah. So, but then
Disney Plus.
Yeah, but then
Disney Plus. There we go.
But then what's kind of funny, and this is also something I was noticing with these 3 episodes. So we have people getting put in having to make difficult decisions. A little bit of mind control, debating whether or not Godzilla can be trusted or not. And, another thing that happens a lot in these, it's not Godzilla who takes care of the monsters of the week.
Yeah.
Because even though in this episode, Godzilla does take out a bunch of the cyberflies, but ultimately they're defeated by Randy.
Well, yes. And ultimately you can't really have Godzilla defeat Cameron because he's got to show back up 2 more times.
Yeah, true.
At least.
Otherwise, he's a squishing just on asphalt.
Fox Kids television standards, you're not allowed to kill anybody.
True.
So,
they kill some of the monsters.
They get they're destroyed.
Oh yes,
they're not killed.
They are destroyed.
I know.
Killed.
I'm well aware.
That gets so much better.
I'm well aware. Trust me. I have been burning through a lot of Power Rangers for one of my other podcasts, The Power Trip, and it's to the point where it's almost funny how many times they keep using the word destroy or destroyed euphemistically. I'm just like, guys, this is borderline ridiculous.
I would like to know why so many towns in Southern California have abandoned warehouse districts.
Exactly.
Angel Grove is the king of abandoned warehouse.
Exactly.
All the other little towns that the Power Rangers end up fighting in.
But anyway,
they all have abandoned warehouse districts.
But yeah,
for some reason, I'll have Japanese signs on them.
But anyway, as you were talking about dogs, actually one of my favorite lines in this episode is from Monique, and let me tell you, I've met Monique. She's a little scary.
A little bit.
Yeah. There's a point where they're sneaking in, and because this was foreshadowed, a lot of, very tightly written, a lot of very quick foreshadowing. So she dealt with some Dobermans who were had smaller neurostimulators in them, and then her and Nick are sneaking in again later in the episode, and then those same Dobermans come after her, so she gets out one of her handy dandy super French spy gadgets, and it's a sleeping gas that she sprays from an aerosol can and knocks the dogs out. But then there you go. We have recorded him barking on.
That wasn't a real bark. Trust me, that was
it's loud. Bark. It's very loud.
But anyway, and then we get to later where they're struggling against the henchman that Cameron Winter has after he does his little monologue about how he's just going to get rich off of all of this. And actually, it's really clever. Yeah, cha-ching. It's really clever, I have to say, because they're like, why are you using Godzilla to do this? And it's like, is it to sell your biowebs? Like, no, it's because they're going to come to me and want bigger, better guns to kill the monsters.
It makes sense.
It does make logical sense.
It makes very logical sense. But then she gets the knockout aerosol spray again and sprays one of the guards. And her line is, what do you know? It works on all kinds of dogs.
I just loved that line when, because she's sneaking in while they're all talking to Cameron, the normal way. He recognizes there's someone missing. And all of a sudden the alarm goes off. He goes, "Oh, I guess your friend decided to join us after all." It's like, yeah, I bet she did.
Yeah. Man, it's one of the perks of being a supervillain, right? Yeah, yes. I said it. Supervillain. Maybe I should start doing I almost said Andy. Well, I should do what Randy did and call him Cammy, because he calls him Cammy. I'm like,
it's kind of funny.
That is. We have to start calling him Cammy. See how he likes that. What's he gonna do? Fire me?
Maybe into space.
Into space. I was shot into space today. Anyway.
I mean, have you made sure the rockets aren't still on your recording studio?
Yes. They have been removed from KIJU. I mean, there's a bunch of other people who work here. We don't need them getting rocketed into space either.
He's forgetting about the one that's been buried underground.
What? How do you know this?
Well, I mean, you got to have a starter. But anyway. Booster rockets and all that.
Exactly.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
So
I'm just glad before you got shot into space that they actually installed the window that Jet punched into the wall.
Yeah, well, yes. That he punch into the wall. Yeah.
Yes.
Someone's been listening. I can tell. I mean,
yes. I'm one of these weirdos who like soaks up trivia like a sponge absorbs water.
Well, before we move on to the next episode, do you have any other thoughts here on Mr. Winter's first appearance?
I still think this is the episode where he is the slimiest and the most.
Oh, agreed. His more motivation is there.
The other two, he almost seems like, oh, who's the mastermind behind all this bad stuff going? Oh, it's Cameron Winters.
Dun, dun, dun.
The one where he's the monster of the week. The rest of the time, he's just the monster behind the monster of the week.
He's pulling the strings.
Yeah, he's the puppet master at that point.
All right, fellas. Well, if that's all you've got on this episode, we'll move on to the next one.
All right.
An early frost. Zilla appears to be attacking New York unprovoked, so the French government sends Philippe Roche to kill the monster with a new bioweapon. Colonel Hicks reassembles the scientific team that studied Zilla's progenitor to investigate the new attacks, intending to kill the G-Man. Meanwhile, it's discovered that the creature attacking civilians is actually a genetically engineered chameleon created by Cameron Winter as a prototype for a new bioweapon he can use to, you guessed it, sell to the highest bidders. Now, Roche must choose to follow his orders or do the right thing. All right, so this one's fun because we get some more movie connections.
Yes, we do.
Because Philippe Roche.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember him from the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, played by Sean Reno, but it's not Sean Reno in the show.
No.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
No, although the guy they got did a pretty good job. Although I feel like Roche is a little bit different in this. He seems harder and sterner in this.
Yeah.
Compared to the kind of almost like borderline comic relief action hero that he was in the movie.
Strangely enough, admittedly, the more comedic characters from the movie that do show up in the show do seem sterner because Matthew Bryan, Nick Totopoulos has the same issue because he's got a lot of funny lines in the movie, and he's very much not funny in the show.
Yeah. Very serious.
Very serious.
Yeah, well.
He's got to be the Red Ranger of this team.
Oh, my friend Michael will appreciate that comparison.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, there's 5 of them. They kind of all fit the Ranger tropes.
True.
2 girls, 3 guys.
So,
Randy's got to be blue.
Is Elsie pink or yellow?
Elsie's got to be pink because I think. Oh shoot!
Monique?
The other one's got to. Monique has to be yellow.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it should be.
She's because that's more of the tomboy color.
Yes, that is true.
Very
true. So obviously Mendel has to be blue, right? Because he's like the nerdiest of all of them. They're all nerds.
No, I mean sometimes the blue is not the nerdy one. He's the more. I think Randy is more the blue, and the other one, and then the other one's either black or green. I don't care which.
Yeah. So does that make Nigel the 6th Ranger?
The Zord.
He's the Zord.
But he's the one that keeps blowing up. So yeah, I never use him.
Nigel. No. Although we don't get that. We get the joke that Nigel dies every episode, and that poor robot. Let me tell you.
Oh,
that poor robot.
Yes.
I got to see him unfortunately get snapped in half by a giant ant a few weeks ago. So,
I'm sorry. What was that? Oh, you don't think we should talk bad about Nigel? How come? Are you saying what I think you're saying, Deedlet?
I was gonna say you're the only one who can understand her.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, considering what she just said, which I don't think I should translate.
Ooh.
I think
Was it
Deedlet just
spicy?
kind of admitted that she may have a crush on Nigel.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. And now I just was called a baka. How do you speak Japanese in that weird language of yours? She said, don't ask.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's impressive. Maybe Deedlet's been hanging out with my pseudo sister because she calls me Baka all the time.
I mean, she has been watching a lot of anime recently. Thankfully, she's not picking up any tsundere traits, but I suspect from what she just said, she would like Senpai to notice her.
Oh, well. I'll see what I can. Oh,
Deedlet, watch your mouth. This is a family show.
oh, geez. Do I
Thanks.
have to? Speaking of robots, do I need to bring in Jet here for Deedlet?
Thankfully, I'm the only one who could actually understand what word she just used.
Oh.
I may have to wash your mouth out with digital soap later.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't think I'll survive. Pray for me.
I'll talk to Randy. He might be able to recommend a few to you. Yeah.
Does that work with AI from the 33rd century?
Oh, that's impressive. We'll see.
I don't know how
it
she
might.
got here, but
I would guess it might. It might. You might want to watch out for Jet. He might try to steal Nigel's girl there. I don't know, but
well, I'll have to keep an eye on her. I don't know what she's doing right now.
Yeah,
she's
for sure.
She's over there by the window. I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah,
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
Not good.
The window that Jet made for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so yes, Nigel. Well, because the funny thing is one of the running gags with Nigel is that he dies every episode. He's like Kenny from South Park.
Yeah.
And funny enough, did you guys know he was voiced by the same guy as SpongeBob, Nigel?
Does not surprise me.
That's interesting. I didn't know
It
that.
does sound like him, surprisingly enough.
Yep, it does. And wish I could remember the fella's name, unfortunately. I can't remember his name.
I think it's Tom Kenny.
Tom Kenny, that's right. It's Tom
I
Kenny.
believe that's his name.
Tom Kenny. But you know, one of the other shticks of the show with Nigel is not in any of these episodes, and I was a little disappointed. And that's
usually the comedy relief.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
he keeps getting hacked by Randy.
Yeah. Well, we get the comedy of he gets destroyed, but the other joke is that Randy hacks him, and then it allowed the writers to make a bunch of pop culture references. We don't get any of that. We don't get any funny voices.
Well, admittedly, we're a little more focused on the issues at hand in these 3 episodes.
This is true, and this is true, and I actually
not a lot of room for comedy.
No, not
also
really.
true. And honestly, I think of these 3, this one might be my favorite.
I think I might agree, because one of the things I love about this is how they give you a red herring at the beginning of this entire episode, where it really does look like Godzilla has finally gone rogue. Like they've been saying he's going to this whole time, only for at the last possible second you get the goofiest looking chameleon to get him to show up.
It's like, wow.
You say goofy. I think this thing is horrific. I don't know how this monster makes any sort of sense. Like you know that
because I don't know how they figured out how to draw this to where it looked. Where it works. Don't get me wrong. When he's when he's not camouflaged, he does very horrific.
Yeah.
But that sequence when he's coming out from the buildings, I'm going, that is weird looking.
Just a little.
The funny thing is that I believe it was sort of implied that Zilla Senior could do that in the movie, because
I think it was too.
It's weird.
But I mean, I like how the way they designed the monster, he really does look like Godzilla from the neck down.
Yeah,
he does. He does, but it's also like you know that when somebody was designing that they were like referencing H.R. Giger or something. Because this thing,
yeah, absolutely.
This thing is probably one of the weirdest, scariest looking kaiju on this show, because it's got this head that is basically just like a 3-prong mouth that just opens up. It's got a maw on its chest that opens up, and it's got teeth in it. I'm like, what is this? And it's supposed to be
inspired by Alien. I can tell that.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, I was just like
very eager.
Yeah, I was like, this is just horrific. I was just, this is not a chameleon. This is a genuine monster here. And
yes.
I was like, what was Winter thinking with this? Was this part of the package? It's like, it looks intimidating too. Make your enemies crap their pants before you kill them with it or something. I mean,
maybe I miss about this. Wasn't a genetically engineered monster.
It was. He said he genetically modified it.
I missed that part. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah, he genetically modified
a lab experiment.
Yeah, it's a lab experiment that he made as a prototype for a new bioweapon.
Yeah,
because
it's disturbing, is what it is.
Yeah. Like I said,
a little bit.
I mean, that must be one of the selling points. Make your enemies crap their pants before you kill them. I mean,
Once it comes randomly out of the next wall.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote. So it's a ninja chameleon. That's what. Nin Kaiju.
I think that was a Sonic character.
Nin Kaiju
character. No, a chameleon ninja.
Chameleon ninja.
Oh, okay.
It only makes sense, but I co-wrote, I should say, a kaiju novella called Destroyer, where I said, oh yeah, we'll make it look like a dragon because that's scary.
I still need to finish reading that.
Oh, well, you should. Leave me a review on Amazon while you're at it. So yeah, I really like the monster in this one, and I like the mystery of it. I like how they're playing on, they're paying off things. They're remembering things like, we're afraid Godzilla's going to go rogue. And it looks like he did. I like the callbacks to the movie, because they're like, hey, because the opening doesn't have our characters. The cold open is just two randos. And they're like, it's just two tourists in New York and standing by a footprint. It's like, this is where the monster came ashore the first time.
How do you know that? Well, the nice man selling T-shirts over there. I'm thinking that nice man selling T-shirts over there would tell you that the Tooth Fairy came here if he thought he could sell a T-shirt about it.
Exactly.
I've been to New York. I know how that works.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship.
Cameron Winter approves. Maybe it was, heck, maybe that was Cameron Winter. Maybe that was Cameron Winter. He was the one on the street selling the T-shirts.
Well,
he's in the skies.
You had to have boots on the ground to make sure that it went off without a hitch.
That's true.
And who better to trust than yourself?
Yeah, well, and the other interesting thing is that I think out of the three, this is the latest out of the three that Cameron Winter shows up, because it's not until
it's like
10
at the end
minutes?
of season 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He doesn't show up till like the last 10 minutes, and it's almost like who on earth could be behind this? Gee, I wonder who. Could it be Cameron Winter?
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, what other winter-themed person is on the show that we could use a Frost pun with?
Yes.
An early Frost. Oh, well, although they don't do that with the next episode, which is kind of weird. So we had the Shakespeare reference, which made me happy with the first one, the Winter of Our Discontent.
Yes.
This one is just a pun.
Yes, and not a good pun, if I'm being honest.
There's some other punny titles in the show that I think are a bit better.
I agree.
Yeah, like Website, which is about a giant spider.
Yeah.
Good.
That was a good one.
But yeah, so this one, like I said, I think it's my favorite. I like the mystery. I like the misdirect, the red herring, the monster's great. And Roche. You can't go wrong with bringing Philippe Roche back.
And we get so many other callbacks to the movie that, honestly, I don't expect from a movie tie-in cartoon.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah. The only other one I can think of where it did that many, at least that I can think of, would be like the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
But that's because you had to have a character from the show, from the movies, be your mentor character on the show. So
this is true. And again,
I'm thinking of the other one, the Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yes.
The same production company did. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, that is true. And Men in Black. They did the Men in Black show as well. But again, we get some smart writing here, I feel like, because they're like, well, it looks like a duck. What was it? It looks like a duck. It sounds like a duck, and it smells like a duck. And Nick says, but it doesn't act like a duck.
True.
Exactly.
That is very intelligent. Very well done.
I'm like,
because everybody else is convinced to be like, oh yeah, it's Godzilla, except Nick.
Yeah, and
now we have two. Godzilla.
And we literally have two sets of characters who are determined to kill him.
And I'm going to admit, for a hot second, I actually thought maybe something had gone wrong with Godzilla. I thought maybe Cameron Winters had done something that made him go rogue, and that's why he went rogue, having no idea what the show was about when it started. But here's a little fun fact. This was the first time I realized they were using classic Godzilla roars in the show. Because when that was going on, when those first roars were going on, I thought, that's the Showa roar. That's the roar I've been hearing on my Criterion box set back here this whole time. What is that doing here? I thought this show had kind of cut itself off and was only doing slight allusions to all the monsters they legally couldn't use.
Well, you know what's kind of funny? I've heard that I'm guessing it's more like the grunt noise. It's not the roar, but like the grunts and growls and everything for the 98 movie were supposedly done by Megatron himself.
Oh yeah,
Frank Welker.
It is Frank Welker.
And then just to make it even funnier, there's I think Frank Welker
is Godzilla.
Yeah, Frank Welker is confirmed. But there's rumors that in 1976 for that weirdo King Kong remake that Peter Cullen did some noises for Kong.
I can see this.
Yes.
Makes sense considering you have Optimus Primal, which is a semi-inspired one, and he was from Optimus Prime, which was voiced by Peter Cullen, and then Primal was an ape. So I can follow.
Makes sense.
I'm telling you.
Rex Megatron.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I want somebody to somehow make like a short film, like a short animated film or whatever, that is a rematch between Godzilla and Kong, and you let them voice them. That would be so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And them trash talking each other.
Entire time. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ignore my shirt for this one.
All right, so ridiculous fan films aside, fan theories aside. So we find out that Cameron Winter, off camera, I might add, off camera, got out of jail. He was sent to jail at the end of the first episode he was in.
Yeah.
Somehow the company stayed in business. That's astonishing. And now he got out on 6 months probation. Because that's how you do things when you are a supervillain with an army of lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if this was Gotham City, he could just run the company from jail.
That's true. Or St. Bernard from Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We are nerds who love cartoons. Can you tell?
Just a little bit.
I mean, just looking around. Well, no, that's never mind.
Yeah. But anyway, I mentioned in the first episode that one of the through lines with this trilogy is Cameron Winter, in some form or another, putting people in a position where they have to make difficult decisions. And in this one, we have two characters who have to make difficult decisions. We have Monique, who has to choose between, I guess you could say, her loyalty to her country because they've given her orders and they expect her to carry them out, and her loyalty to Heat, even though she's usually the most outspoken critic of Zilla in any of these episodes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
She kind of fluctuates a little bit on it.
It is weird.
And then at the end, because she basically makes her decision. She's just like, I'm siding with Heat on this. But she has to convince Roche to go along, and then he has to make a decision. Follow my orders or
kill the monster that's actually causing all the trouble.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do the right thing, basically.
Destroy the monster.
Yeah, destroy the monster. Yeah. And by the way, if the French government has developed a weapon that will literally turn flesh to powder and it's meant to be used on monsters, I am horrified that they're going to start using it on people. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, how did they get the formula for the oxygen destroyer is what I'd like to know. That's what it looks like.
It's kind of the oxygen destroyer, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks like it would have the same effect.
Yes. It kind of does. But I do kind of I love the ending of this episode. It has my favorite ending out of all of them too, where because that's like, oh, good, you didn't kill Zilla. He's like, I only had one cartridge.
And I'm sitting there going, you only had one.
It's
cartridge?
because one fell. It's because he fired one and then one fell overboard.
That is true. Did.
Still, I mean, I would assume you'd come with a full magazine.
Well, he did, but the magazine fell overboard.
They're rockets.
A magazine of rockets.
Yeah.
Rockets monthly, right?
Exactly. A monthly subscription comes in a loot box.
A loot crate? That's what happened to Loot Crate?
Yes. Before they were the Loot Crate we know and love.
They were Rockets monthly.
Yes,
exactly.
Very popular with French.
You were going to get this week. One week it's the Oxygen Destroyer rocket. The other week it just blows raspberry jam all over the place. So you can jam the radar. That's how the guy, I can't think of the guy from baseball.
Jimmy appreciates that reference quite a bit.
Lone Star. I'm a Texan and I couldn't think of
I think Darius R. Gold is probably going to text me again and say you need to turn in your Texan card.
Too late. I'm already here. My driver's license is non-refundable.
Oh my goodness. But so there was that little exchange. So it casts a little bit of ambiguity on whether or not he really meant what he was doing. I think we're led to believe he was, but he doesn't want anyone to think that was the case because he's Sean Renault, Yeah,
he is always right. It's just sometimes he has to be a little less right than normal.
Yes. Indeed.
To do the right thing.
But my favorite part of the whole episode, well, one of my favorite parts of the whole episode is at the end where he says that Monique's stay here has been extended indefinitely. And she says, as reward or punishment? Because she basically defied him through the whole episode. And he just turns around, looks over his shoulder, and just smirks.
Yeah, that was great. It's a great way to end the episode.
Yeah, like I said, smart writing. It could have, in lesser hands, that would have turned into another 60-second conversation or something. But nope.
Yeah.
It's just
and it was a nice way to end the episode on a nice little joke.
Yes. And again, Zilla doesn't get to kill the monster of the week. Philippe does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you just gotta hold the guy down. Like a certain monkey fighting his brother.
GVK spoilers are allowed now. It's okay.
I was referring to Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, I understand.
Goku died during that, so let's just not go there.
Yeah. Although, speaking of GVK, they did the pour liquid on the computers to make them short out thing here before GVK did.
Yes. Which I hate that here too.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't like that?
It's interesting, but it's like, this seems pointless. I know why, but it's like, couldn't you come up with a better way than at least beat it to death with a bat or something?
Yeah.
Where are they going to find a bat?
I don't know.
Take the
either one.
chair or something like that.
A chair?
There's a blunt object somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe that was on Cameron Winter's boat. The one that he said that, or he tried to bribe Nick. He's like, "You can have all the technological secrets in this boat for the next 60 seconds."
Initiating self-destruct in 5, 4, 3. Get out of there! I had flashbacks to another.
I totally approve of that.
Yes,
I totally approve of that. That actually, that might have been my favorite line in the whole episode. Yeah. Right there, was that you can have all of this for the next 60 seconds, and then he blows.
Which is like his third and final line in the entire show.
Yes,
entire episode.
Yeah, he's actually not in it a whole lot.
True.
Yeah,
this is the one he's in the least.
Lines.
Yes.
But yeah, he gets the lines. That's for sure.
He does. Very true.
All right. And with a friendly little smirk on all of our faces, we'll move on to our third and final episode, fellas. Lizard season. Winter breaks Dale, Hank, and Bill, 3 hunters who once tried to bag Zilla, out of prison and arms them with a trio of Lizard Slayer mechs so they can get revenge on Big G. Meanwhile, Monique arms the Heat Seeker to the teeth without Nick's permission as a precaution against Zilla, which is used against them when Winter hacks the boat's systems during Zilla's fight with the Lizard Slayers. It's monster versus mech in a fight to the finish. So, fellas, did you ever play Mech Warrior growing up?
I did not.
Because this is Mech Warrior.
I didn't have a PC that could run it.
Pretty much.
This is Mech Warrior, guys. I mean, it's just... Or maybe it's like the Proto-Pacific Rim because mechs versus kaiju?
Possibly, yeah. It does make sense.
Yes.
It's just a thought that just occurred to me.
You didn't put rednecks in the mechs in Pacific Rim.
The rednecks in the mechs. That sounds like the title of a comic book right there.
It does.
You might be a redneck if you think hunting Godzilla in the middle of New York City is a good idea.
Well, this just begs the question: does Darius R. Gold know these guys? Because they must be from Texas or something. These rednecks from Texas.
These got to be Louisianans. I'm sorry. I apologize, my friend. I know that's your
none taken.
These people seem like they're from Louisiana.
Why would you say
Arkansas? Maybe Arkansas.
Why would you say they're from Louisiana, other than the fact that you want to protect the honor of your state?
Because I've watched shows where they hunt gators in Louisiana, and it's like, oh yeah, I could see this.
Yeah, but
the guys from that show going up to New York and trying to hunt Godzilla.
Yeah.
Be it Zilla Jr., the original the Zilla, or the real Godzilla.
Either or.
Well,
these idiots would fight King Ghidorah.
Well, that's one for each head. So
exactly. Which one gets Kevin? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
sorry, that one will always be Kevin to me, no matter which.
He's Kevin on the island here too. He's still Kevin here on the island, man. So
every time I watch that movie and that head gets cut off, I go, Kevin, no.
Well, and then Kevin ends up Mechagodzilla.
Yes, that's what's hilarious, except he's not acting like Kevin in that.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's angry Kevin.
Anyway.
Oh
my gosh.
So yes, rednecks and mechs hunting Godzilla, Mech Warrior all around. Let's just say when I met Mr. Darius R. Gold here, he reminded me of these fellas. And I can't help but wonder if they were friends, and that's how he got hired by Mr. Winter. What?
Maybe there was connection. You never know.
You never know. Although he told me that he thought these guys were idiots and that you should never give them big guns.
Yeah.
See this. Of course, that being said, we know somebody who would do the same thing in their situation.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, I'm not saying his name. He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. I'm more afraid of this person getting behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then Weird Al song "Trigger Happy." Yeah, that was written about him.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much.
He's typical Texan, I guess, right?
No.
He's worse.
Worse.
Oh.
Extreme Texan.
Extreme Texas.
Yes.
What is that? Extremis? Extremis? No. Okay. Anyway.
Extremis. That's an Iron Man.
Yeah. Moving on. It's funny. In the previous episode, that was the latest Cameron Winter showed up. This is the soonest. Because within what was it, like 30 seconds, we had a prison break.
Yeah.
Waste no time.
And the thing was, I started this episode and I was looking at it going, don't I recognize these goobers? Mm-hmm. Where do I recognize them from? I go through the whole episode not knowing where I recognize them from. Finally, I get done. I look up Wikipedia. You go, oh, these are these goobers.
Yeah, from Cat and Mouse.
Cat and Mouse, yeah.
I realized
there was even a flash. Dude, they had a flashback.
They did.
I know, but at first I just went right over my head. It's like, ugh. I have to wonder, as smart as Cameron Winter is, I have to wonder what he was thinking getting these guys.
Indeed.
It is. I find it very questionable.
Yes, this is not his best plan.
No, although I wonder if it was
Godzilla.
I wonder if it was because he was thinking, "Oh, I can get these goobers, as you put it, to test out the mechs. I'll tell him, go kill the lizard for me." I mean, he has these golden lines here where he tells where after he's in the helicopter with those guys, he breaks them out of jail and he tells them that he wants to go get him a dish best served lizard.
Yes.
Okay. You're winning the awards for best lines here, Mr. Winter. Yeah. I'll give you that. But so he's like, "Oh, you guys want to get revenge on Godzilla? You want to bag Godzilla? Here, I'll give you the big guns to do it, the big toys."
Yeah. This is going to go well.
Yeah, yes. And then we find out it was nothing but an elaborate plot to test these things, and to blame it on them. And then he gets a government contract to make more money, cha-ching. So
exactly.
I don't know. This still seems like a poorly thought out plan from Turbo. From Power Rangers Turbo.
Don't get me started on Turbo.
I knew that would fly, actually. My first one was, maybe this is Goldar, Squad, and Babu, and I thought, no, they're too smart for this. But those idiots from Turbo, yeah, I could see that.
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, even Cameron Winter, I think there are points where unlike in the previous episodes, he gets genuinely frustrated and angry in this episode, and I kind of relish every second when he's getting angry.
It's his own fault for hiring these goobers. He should have known better. This is not the best plan he's come up with.
Yeah, did he not pull their file beforehand?
Yeah, probably not his best plan.
Probably not.
Although it's interesting to see him going a different route where before it was... it's actually he does something a little bit different with technology. First, there's the neurostimulators with the robot flies, and then we had genetic engineering in the second one, and now we've got mechs.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks mechs is a step down from his other plans?
How so?
Just seems like the way. It just seems that way because it's like you got these things that will control the kaiju. We've got a kaiju completely under our control through genetic manipulation. We've got giant robots.
Well, no. The chameleon had one of the neural stimulators too.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
That's how they figured out it was Winter.
You know what they should have done?
What's that?
They should have had the mechs shoot the cyberflies so it would cause Godzilla to kind of at least for a short second, kind of not be able to move, so then they could shove those rockets down his throat.
Oh,
I'm saying this like I want Godzilla to die, and I do not. But I'm still thinking plans.
You mean Zilla?
Zilla, sorry.
Yeah, Zilla.
I'm sorry. In my mind, he is still Godzilla here.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I recognize officially he is not.
Yeah, well, Nick Tatopoulos has been fighting a legal battle with Toho to get him rechristened Godzilla. Because
fair enough.
But I don't even think my friend Raymond Martin can win that because Toho's lawyers are vicious.
That's what I hear.
Vicious. So, yeah, probably not my favorite of his evil plans, although it's amusing to see him get frustrated, I will say. But, it's also a little hard to argue with rednecks and mechs. Yeah, these guys are straight out of King of the Hill. Do you guys remember King of the Hill?
Yes. Oh, you mean the Texas anime? Yes. That thing is so from Texas. It's not even funny. No. Except that it's hilarious.
Straight out of King of the Hill here, guys.
Yeah. Except because Hank's not here. It's definitely Boomhauer Dale.
No, there is a Hank. One of these guys is named Hank.
No, none of these are Hank Hill. Yeah. This is definitely Bill Dale and Boomhauer. That's who these three characters are.
And we also have a Dale.
Yes. But if Hank Hill was here, he'd be complaining that it's not running on clean running propane. And he wouldn't get into things because they're probably running on charcoal.
He'd also probably be trying to make sure that Bobby didn't get in one of these mechs.
Because you know he would try.
That boy ain't right. Oh my gosh. And I like the names, Lizard Slayers.
Yes,
and they each do a different thing. One is your traditional land mech that looks straight out of Mech Warrior, and then we have the submersible that can also walk if it wants to, and then the one that flies, and so they all do different things.
Sea and air.
Which makes sense because you have one of each that you're prototyping.
Yes.
So that when it proves successful, then you can then mass market each of the three for a different purpose.
Exactly. And I love when Cameron Winter's explaining all of this. Is it just me, or does he sound like a game show host when he's doing that? It's like, and here's Lizard Slayer 1. It can do this, and it can do this. And this is Lizard Slayer 2, the amphibious model. I mean, and
I'm still sitting here going and saying, okay, you explained that these things are extremely easy to use. At the same time, I saw that cockpit. How did they know how to pilot that thing just by looking at it?
Oh, they told you. They told you. He said that the interface was so simple that a monkey could drive it.
Bull.
Yeah.
There are too many gauges for a monkey to know what's going on.
So I'm looking at this thinking, so is that
if said monkey was Dr. Zaius, I agree. However,
I'm just looking at it thinking, he's like, is he insulting their intelligence? Or
yes,
or did he have?
He thinks everyone is monkeys.
Well, yeah, or did he actually have monkeys test this? That would be kind of funny.
I'm just saying that this is a bit of a exaggeration on his part as to how simple these things are to use because they literally had no training before they go. And I'm sorry, I don't care what kind of vehicle you're driving, you have to at least play with it for a little while.
Well, they did take it for they took it for a test run.
Not much.
No.
That's because you have 22 minutes. Drive. You have 22 minutes to tell a story.
I'm aware. It's just it's exaggerated how easy these things are to pilot. Is all I'm saying. It's if like they would have just said, "Hey, it's been 2 or 3 weeks and somewhere in there," give an idea that there's been a time jump, I'd be okay with it because then they have time to try it. But this makes it look like he busted them out of jail. Showed them the new things, gave them their new uniforms, and said, "Hey, go hunt Godzilla."
Yeah,
it's been 24 hours since I busted you out of jail. Have fun.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. It's fine.
Yes.
Well,
this has the best way to succeed in this plan.
Well, I mean, come on, they're the forerunners to the Jaegers, you know.
I know, but still,
and they were big game hunters, so I'm totally BSing. I get what you're saying. It doesn't necessarily make sense other than monkey pilots. I just and he describes them as the Cameron Winter gets frustrated. He says, "Oh, good." It's like I didn't know I hired the Three Stooges, and now I'm like, I want the Three Stooges in mech suits. I want.
Yes. Unfortunately, we did not get the third one. Was not Curly or Shemp. It was Joe, the one no one likes.
Ow. Well, but then they had their puntastic one-liners after that. You know?
Oh yes.
More power to you. And then he electrocutes him. I mean.
Good night.
But then we got some more golden lines from Cameron Winter. Actually, this might be one of my favorites from all 3 episodes. What's the matter, Fifi? Am I not Jerry Lewis enough for you? I feel like that's referencing something, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
I have no idea what it's referencing either. It's so out there.
It is.
I don't get it, but whatever.
It's just so weird, and it comes on the heels of him hacking into the heat seeker and talking to him through their computer, and then she just spears it. And then he just pops up onto another monitor.
Yes, just like, of course, it's one computer system. You only took out a monitor. Yeah. What did you expect? This is your top-of-the-line French technology, and you're stupid enough to allow an open port for him to hack in.
No, they explained that. It was because Randy was trying to hack into his system, and he said, "Oh, too bad it's a two-way street."
Yeah. It's Randy's fault.
Just blame Randy.
He should have known better.
Yes.
Blame Randy. I feel like everyone blames Randy.
Pretty much. Good night. We nearly lost the Heat Seeker in this episode because of that.
The Heat Seeker almost gets lost, I think, at least once an episode. So
not as bad as Nigel.
Nigel.
Oh, poor Nigel.
Sorry, I apologize. I recognize it's a sore spot for you right now.
Calm down.
Simmer down. Simmer down. Simmer down.
Apparently, that crush is a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah, it's not, at this rate, I'm afraid she's going to get literally crushed. Yeah. Well, another thing that I think is hilarious in here, of course, Cameron Winter is going to install giant holographic projectors into his mechs so he can make a 20-foot hologram of himself.
It just occurs to me he could make a lot of money selling this to like the entertainment industry.
Oh, yeah.
Far more than trying to get these mechs to go into the military. If he's got holographic projectors. I mean, just think about it. In Japan right now, they've got those Vocaloids concerts that are literally computer-generated characters they're throwing up on screens. It could be a lot more realistic if they had these holographic projectors.
Well, I mean, at this point, he's just like, I just have to actually realize my ego in its true form, which is a 20-foot tall version of myself. So...
You say that now. By the end of this year, I guarantee you that's what's going to happen on this island.
I'm expecting it. He's going to start addressing us with holographic projectors on mechs. God help us if he makes the Lizard Slayers Mark II. No, Jimmy, I would rather you didn't add those to your garage because God only knows what's in them.
Yeah.
Anyway, who else here loved the little moment where Randy hugs Monique and she scowls at him?
That was kind of sweet.
That was good.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is they do get together because he has the craziest crush on her.
No kidding.
Really?
Yes.
I hadn't gathered that since an early frost. That's kind of obvious there too.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
In fact, there's an episode of the show where they end up going on a date together.
Good for them.
Yeah, I'm amazed he's not dead, but
to be honest, with all the kaiju that they have to go up against, I'm surprised there's not more casualties on this show besides Nigel.
That's because this is a 90s children's cartoon that operates on G.I. Joe logic where nobody dies, but everything blows up.
That's because they learned from Optimus Prime.
Yeah, you don't kill the big bot off.
Oh, those poor children.
Oh, gosh.
I was thankfully not young enough not old enough to watch that when it came out.
Yeah,
so.
But speaking of Randy, he had a really nice one, and a really nice line in this one that they even said like, "Who said that?" And he basically says, "I did." Victory is desperation times improvisation.
Shit.
You know what? Kudos to you.
Exactly.
Glad you thought of that. I hope I don't have to Google that and find out somebody else said it.
And then going back to one of our themes for these episodes, we kind of don't have Zilla beating the monster of the week, as in the monsters of the week this time are the mechs.
Yeah.
And he takes out two of them. He gets the last one, but they take out two of them.
So at least Godzilla did something this episode. Took out somebody in this one of these three episodes.
Yeah, at least. Although it was amusing how they took out the other two, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Nigel.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Nigel.
Indeed.
Deela's going to kill me. Anyway.
Is she going to somehow figure out how to keep him alive?
I don't know. Is Nigel even still around?
He is. I saw
heard anything out of that.
He got
crew.
chomped in half by an ant. I told you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He's still around.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's funny. This is almost like the kettle calling the pot black, but Dale, when the soldiers come to arrest them after they get blamed for everything, so Cameron Winter gets off scot-free,
As always.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "Get your hands off me, Gomer."
Well, golly.
Now that is a heck of a reference, I have to say.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a double-barreled reference because it's Gomer pal.
Yeah. Of the USMC.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why it makes sense in that context because it's a soldier. But that was a spinoff from Andy Griffith, which is about a country town full of rednecks.
It's the same character, so I mean, they had to replace him on Andy Griffith with his cousin Goober Pal.
Goober Pal.
That is the character's name.
Of course. So it's Gomer. So it works
Gomer and Goober.
Yeah, it works on several levels. So I got to give credit to the writers here. But again, it's funny. It's like the redneck is calling somebody Gomer. That is just funny.
Yeah. Indeed.
And then it ends with poor Nick getting frustrated. It literally ends with Nick just screaming at the sky. We're led to believe because Cameron Winter gets away with everything,
and he gets cha-ching for it.
Winters. Trying to channel my Kirk there.
Winters. And then there's a technique to it. You gotta have the mouth kind of half open. You gotta get the upper lip up over the teeth and shake the fist at the sky. I learned how to do this. I learned how to do this from a Star Trek tribute band.
I'm not surprised.
Look them up sometime. 5-Year Mission. Very amusing band.
I think I've heard them, actually.
Yeah, yes.
I remember that.
Yes. So
we've heard them on another, one of their songs used on another podcast I used to listen to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's basically everything that I've got to say about this last episode. So
pretty much what I've got to.
You said something before we went on the air about you had opinions that you didn't think Mr. Winter would like.
He's not a very good villain. A lot of his plans don't make a lot of sense. I mean,
they're all financially driven.
Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like, why do you want to kill Godzilla? I know you want to use him as a weapon, but for the most part, after that first one, you just want to get rid of him. So there are things he could have done better. That's all I'm saying. There are much better villains, and I will admit, this is not the story of Cameron Winters who's actually your boss. This is an adaptation, and the show probably ended before they got to actually show more of his character.
Yeah,
I will grant you that. But the biggest issue I have with his character in this is there is not a lot of character development for his character outside of just being an evil, greedy maniac.
I think that's the point.
That's almost a Snidely Whiplash kind of villain.
Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree with that.
He's got the goatee. He's got the goatee of evil there. But he can't twirl the mustache.
Can't you see him tying Monique to the railroad tracks?
Huh? Yes, you can absolutely see
tie Monique to the railroad tracks. And it wouldn't last long because she'd kick his butt, but try.
She'd probably break out before the train got there.
Exactly. Please. They wouldn't even make it to the track before
she would let him take her to the tracks, tie her up. She would get loose while he's monologuing, and then she would tie him to the tracks.
Exactly. And Dudley Do-Right, which is obviously Nick, is going to be really confused when he catches there.
Actually, Nick would probably be like, "Oh, yeah, I should have known this would happen."
Yes. Oh well, bye, Nick. Bye, Cameron.
This just begs the question. There was some
Nichols is going home.
Yeah, Nichols. Oh yeah, I forgot about his funny little nickname because he said that's all he was ever going to make. Because apparently Nick Tatopoulos was a bit of a workaholic stick in the mud in college, even though there were some jokes at his expense about frat parties. So
yeah, but I mean, he was working with worms. There's not how much I can follow the train of thought, even though I'm still thinking. That could if you do it right, that could be a lot of good fertilizer come out of worms, which is going to be a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. This is true. But
at the same time, Nick was never focused on how what he was doing would make money. He was more worried about, actually saving the environment. So.
Yes. Science.
Yes.
Science.
Well, I mean, they did, in the movie, he was described as a science protester or something, like science activist or something like that.
Yes. I'm still trying to figure out how the heck he got the world's possibly worst reporter as his girlfriend. Apparently they met in college too, if I remember.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
So I mean, she had to put up with Winter too. Oh boy. Did you like that little joke about it where Monique's like, was he always this arrogant? And she said, he's mellowed.
It didn't surprise me. I mean, we were all crazier in college.
That is true.
This is true.
I don't want to know Cameron when he was in college.
Yeah, let's not and say we did.
Yes.
Let's not and say we did. So now that you've gotten your hot takes out of the way, are we?
Yes.
Are we ready to close up shop here?
I think so.
All righty. Really? We're doing that again? We are doing it. Good Lord, gentlemen. Apparently, the board is feeling a little bit nostalgic. They have sent me a memo to read.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, at least I don't have to worry about getting shot into space or something if I don't. Right?
Yes.
Right?
That's always a relief.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen on this show.
Let me see. I got some messages here. Let me see. It was greetings, Mr. Marchand. Cameron here. Oh, great. The man himself. I have to say, I've been enjoying this broadcast immensely. Modest though I may be, I will admit that one of my favorite topics is me.
No kidding.
You
think? Hey, a little ego stroking never hurt anyone.
Well, certainly you have plenty of ego to be stroked.
Sure. Yes. Anywho, who says that anymore? All right.
Admittedly, I think I have, but let's move on.
I just figured I'd break the news here before you heard it elsewhere. I regret to inform you that one of the island's best, the EDF's very own Ozaki, has disappeared under mysterious circumstances. I assure you that every bit of manpower and capital is being expended to locate him. We won't rest until he's found. Thoughts are with his family, blah, blah. You get my gist. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Wouldn't want to derail the broadcast too much. And before you ask, no, I'm not a patron of your little show. Of course you're not. You would rather keep your money. I see how this works. Might be a fan, but... Patron. Hey, gotta save that sweet cash where you can, right? Cha-ching. Toodles. Cameron Winter. Oh, yippee skippy.
Winters!
Basically. Now I know how Nick feels.
Yes.
Good grief. But just so you guys, in case you guys don't know, the EDF, the Earth Defense Force, they have a mutant team here who serves as the security around here on the island. Unfortunately, sometimes they're about as competent as Starfleet security.
That's sad.
Yeah, just ask Crystal Lady. Why do you think we have a superhero on the islands? Because she has to pick up their slack.
Right.
But anyway, Ozaki is the commander of the task force here. He's a longtime friend of Captain Gordon. Once you guys see Final Wars, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So it's a little unfortunate that he has suddenly gone missing. I hope he's okay.
Yes, I agree with that.
For sure. But now that we've gotten the news out of the way, it's time to move on to some other segments of the show. Gentlemen, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's rock it.
I'm channeling some more Power Rangers there. I like it. My favorite season of Power Rangers.
I suspect this will be more phenomenal.
Yes. Yes. Because now it's time for the Patreon shout-outs. Travis Alexander,
Michael Hamilton,
Danny DiManna,
Eli Harris,
Chris Cooke,
Becky from Redeemed Otaku,
Damon Noyes,
Ted Williams,
Eric Anderson,
the Cel Cast,
TofuFury. Was that not invigorating, gentlemen?
I feel like I could be awake for the next 3 days.
You may end up being awake for the next 3 days.
Well,
I hope not.
especially considering how bad a mood Dee that looked like she was in when we last saw her.
This is true. But just to let everybody know, you too can get perks like this by joining MIFV MAX on Patreon, starting at just $3 a month, like these wonderful gentlemen here who got to shout themselves out on the show. All right. And with that, it's now time for me to preview the next couple of episodes that we have coming up. And so we've got some cool stuff coming up. So Kaiju will be continuing with my friend, who is also one of the patrons we just shouted out, Eric Anderson, the founder of Nerd Chapel. He will be coming on to talk about 1958's The Blob. You guys ever seen The Blob?
I've heard of it, yes.
Is this the one that was in 3D, but only the blob was in 3D and the rest of the film was 2D?
If it had Steve McQueen in it, yes.
I don't remember. I just remember being told that you could see the movie in 3D, but it was only the blob that was 3D. The rest of the film was 2D, which was weird.
Sounds about right, although it did get remade in the 80s.
Who knows?
So that might be something for me to look up as part of my research. And I got for the Film Vault, I actually picked up the Criterion version. Yes, this movie is in the Criterion collection, and ooh, baby, does it. Yeah, and ooh, baby, does it have lots of very nice special features. So I'm going to be going crazy with that. And then we get back to Godzilla Redux. We took a little bit of a break from it recently so we could talk some Power Rangers through Patreon. One of your fellow patrons, Michael Hamilton. We talked about Green with Evil. And so we'll be getting back, like I said, to Godzilla Redux with King Kong versus Godzilla, not Godzilla versus Kong.
Either way, it's a classic.
Yes.
Right.
A classic. And I am hoping arrangements are still being made. Yes, Jimmy, work your magic. I'm hoping to have YouTube personality Alyssa Goji Geek. I believe her real name is Alyssa Carpentier. So she's a very busy woman. She's not only a YouTuber, she is a recently published author and a member of the U.S. Navy.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yes, she is actually serving the United States in the Navy in Japan right now. So...
Well, at least she won't have to get far to get to you.
Nope, not at all. But like I said, she's a very busy woman.
Yes.
Very busy young lady. All right, so that's what you have to look forward to in the coming month. And now we come to one of the all-important parts of the show, the shameless self-promotion. So I'm going to do a little bit for myself. You should listen to my 2 spin-off podcasts, Henshin Men, which is about Henshin heroes, and The Power Trip, a journey through the Power Rangers franchise. Yeah, and I co-host Henshin Men with Travis Alexander and The Power Trip with Michael Hamilton. So there you go. I've said enough about those shows as is. So what do you have, fellas?
Well, you didn't mention that they were your co-hosts in common.
One of them is.
Yeah, one of them is. Yes, I listened to the show. What of
it? You're only a fan. I get it.
Yes. Our podcast is the Cel Cast, where we review animated TV shows and movies, though mostly movies, because I am slow at editing TV show episodes.
We're working on it.
We review 2D movies, 3D movies, stop motion, and puppetry seems to come up from time to time, which puppetry's not far off from tokusatsu.
Not really.
No, there's a lot of puppetry in tokusatsu. Does Soup Nation count?
I think it does, because when you consider the Muppets, Sweetums is definitely Suitmation.
Yes.
So I think that counts. We just haven't worked in a normal tokusatsu movie into the rotation yet.
Well, if you guys want a suggestion, I recommend Attack of the Super Monsters, which is both anime and tokusatsu.
I'll keep that in mind.
And incredibly weird and hilarious.
I mean, the only other kaiju thing we've ever got was that episode you were on, Rumble.
Yes.
Earlier
So
this
far.
year.
Yes. Although there's some more animated kaiju stuff that's finding its way out there now. So
We'll keep an eye out for that.
yeah, Kaiju number 8, which is a manga, just had an anime adaptation announced.
Nice. But yeah, we release that weekly. We talk about news, what we've been watching, and then we do a full review, and it takes us 2 hours to get through an episode because we don't know how to shut up.
Nope.
So
I know about that
pretty-
problem.
Yes. And then also I have
Yes, Jimmy, because I have that problem.
I wasn't going to say anything. We also have I also have a Facebook page where I post some photography from time to time. Hopefully, I'll get some good pictures up from this current trip to the Monster Island. Because that would be nice.
Oh, yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Assuming that my camera survived the fall off the egg.
Yeah,
to
the
check
Mothra goo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets everywhere.
It is a nice little camera case that it's in, but it can only take so much pressure. And I don't know what's in the goo. But anyway.
I don't think you want to know.
I don't think I want to either. I'm glad it washed off. But anyway, that's my shameless self-promotion. Jacob?
I do also my own personal Facebook grade. It's called Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I draw every day. I post most days, and it's me doodling. It's either full drawings, it's inks, it's color. Sometimes it's paint. Sometimes it's just me trying to be a better artist each and every day. And I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now. And yeah, if you want to follow me there, go for it.
Oh, also, I forgot on our Twitch channel, the Cel Cast Gaming, you can see me play video games every Monday and Saturday. On Saturdays, I'm currently doing Super Mario RPG, and on Mondays, I'm playing Dragon Quest XI.
All righty. You can't go wrong with the classics.
Nope.
If they were only shorter, is my only issue. Because I've been on Dragon Quest XI since October of last year. It's just taking a long time to do it at 2 hour intervals.
Yeah, well, it's a JRPG. What did you expect?
Surprised.
You need to just expect at least an entire work week.
Oh, I just realized earlier that I'm only halfway through the game.
Yep.
And I'm at 40 hours.
Okay, 2 work weeks. So,
Yeah.
or
But
maybe
anyway.
one average work week in Japan.
Perhaps.
Yes.
I mean, it is a Japanese game. What do I expect?
Yes.
But
Exactly.
anyway.
Exactly. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you gentlemen on here for this, really the first bonus episode of the new season. It's been very exciting, and I look forward to having you on again. Spoiler warning, they're coming back. Anyway.
We hope you liked us in that case.
Exactly.
Let's just say some of the references we were making in today's broadcast will be coming up again in full force in a few months.
We're in trouble. Something down. I burst up. Moving on.
All right. And with that, Jimmy, cue credits. Thank you for listening to the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast produced and hosted by Nate Marchand. If you want to join the discussion and be heard on the show, we'd love to hear from you. So email us at feedback@monsterislandfilmvault.com. Our website is monsterislandfilmvault.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Monster Island Film Vault, and on Twitter, where our handle is @TheMonsterIsla1. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. Follow Jimmy from NASA on Twitter @NASAJimmy, and our many other colorful characters using the links in the show notes. The podcast logo was created by Tyler Souls from TylerDrawsComics.com. Our theme song is Wanderer on the Offensive, live edit by B33J, Serax, Juan Madrono, and Nonsensical Lexus, which is a remix of Counterattack Battle with the Colossus and The Opened Way Battle with the Colossus by Kootani from the video game Shadow of the Colossus. All film and audio clips belong to their respective copyright holders and no infringement is intended or implied. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or Podchaser to spread the word about the show. You can also support us by joining MIFV MAX on Patreon. The Monster Island Film Vault is a Moonlighting Ninjas media production. Sayonara!